Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am super excited to continue our new series called Insular Industries. Here we will highlight some of the cultural blind spots that some mega industries have in certain web handling areas. In this week's show, we cover one of the fastest growing but younger of the web industries, film. Film had avoided some mistakes by learning from the other industries who had already mastered rollers and controls and other vital technologies. Yet they too have cultural blind spots. If film could have web handling blind spots, pretty much anyone can. In this short clip, we will cover roller alignment, spreading, and winding. I know your time is precious, so let's get started. The film extrusion process was invented less than a century ago, making film the youngest of the industries of those that we've discussed so far. As such, they borrowed heavily from other industries. Even so, they have led or pioneered a few areas in web handling. The first is clearly winding. While some prior winding research had been done in paper, it was almost all empirical. Kodak changed that in a big way by introducing a series of analytical and verified winding models. These were a series of ever better computer models developed over the years by senior Kodak film company researchers. While these were too involved for the general practitioner to use, the principles these models uncovered left an indelible mark on the science of winding. Another area that film pioneered was air entrainment. The first was a model for air entrainment between webs and rollers that informed us about traction and how to do roller grooving. Later, they showed us a very similar concepts were involved in the air entrainment of air into a wound roll of smooth materials. Notice that the two giants of air entrainment were both senior researchers in the film division of DuPont. Still, the film industry has blind spots just as all others do. Here we will consider grooving, spreading, and winding. Perhaps the most glaring blind spot is the widespread belief that spiral grooving or spiral taping of rollers somehow spreads the web. While film is not unique in promoting this fallacy, they are one of the most vocal of this mistaken belief. Yet, if they had merely paid attention, they would have noticed the first doubts about spiral grooving emerged about a quarter century ago. Very soon it became quite clear from many experiments and many researchers that the spirals of any kind do not spread. You can read the detailed studies or perform the test quite easily yourselves. As it turns out, the spiral fallacy is merely the result of a common optical illusion, albeit a very convincing one, coupled with wishful thinking. One could say, what's the harm in taping rollers? At most, it just takes a few minutes of time and just a few pennies worth of tape. The answer is that taping rollers for this purpose of spreading can work if it simulates the shape of a concave spreader, but cannot work if it is a spiral. The shame and wasted opportunity is for the same time and materials the operator might have constructed an effective spreader, especially for thin, low modulus webs. There are more than a half dozen other spreaders that could work even better. They are described in great detail in Module 11 of my award-winning and trademark Web201 class that has been taken by 5,000 students. They are also described in chapter-length detail, more than 50 pages, in the must-have Web Handling Handbook. So, the shame is, Instead of wasting time by spiral taping, you could have actually decreased wrinkling waste by effective spreading, as well described in more than 100 publications. While film did borrow heavily from older web industries, they were slow in a couple of areas. The first is precision roller alignment. The good news is that this is changing. Many new machines are aligned upon installation to precisions less than the thickness of a human hair, and even some older ones are being realigned. Another area where film was really slow was the continuation of the primitive and confusing winder controls, such as using taper instead of the two-point method. To make matters worse, many of the film winders have uncalibrated controls. Two examples are taper and overspeeds given in percent. Two more examples are dancer tension and lay-on roller nip loads given in cylinder pressure instead of lineal loads such as pounds per inch or newtons per meter. Note that these legacy handicaps are not unique to film. However, film is a poster child for these specific cultural blind spots. Thank you so very much for joining me in this Insular Industries mini-series. Please join me next week where we will continue our discussion of cultural handicaps by critiquing another of the mega industries, the narrow web industry. If you have a topic you would like to hear about, let me know in the comment section below. If you found anything interesting or useful here, please like and share and subscribe. See you next time.